Today we're examining Ted Bundy through 5 critical moments when he almost got caught. These near misses could have saved dozens of lives if investigators had connected the dots just slightly sooner during his reign of terror. In August 1975, a Utah Highway Patrol officer almost ended Bundy's killing spree during a routine traffic stop. If he'd looked more carefully at the items in Bundy's car, 30 women would still be alive today. Even more shocking, Bundy had already escaped from a victim just months earlier. Carol DaRonch not only survived his attack, but provided police with detailed descriptions. Yet somehow, he remained free to kill for another year. This actually happened across 5 states over 4 years. The man who would become America's most infamous serial killer repeatedly slipped through law enforcement's fingers while leaving behind witnesses, evidence, and even living victims who identified him. The story begins in Seattle, 1974. Ted Bundy was a clean-cut law student volunteering at a suicide prevention hotline. His co-workers, including future crime writer Ann Rule, never suspected the charming young man beside them. During this same period, young women were vanishing from college campuses at an alarming rate. Linda Ann Healy disappeared from her basement apartment. Donna Manson vanished walking to a campus concert. Susan Rancourt never reached class. Our first near miss occurred at Lake Sammamish State Park in July 1974. In broad daylight, Bundy approached multiple women asking for help loading a sailboat. Several witnesses saw him and even got his name, Ted. Janice Graham was approached first that day. The handsome man with his arm in a sling seemed harmless enough. But when she reached his car and saw no sailboat, her instincts kicked in immediately. She walked away. Had police interviewed Graham more thoroughly, they would have learned crucial details. She saw his tan Volkswagen Beetle clearly. She noticed his nervous behavior when she questioned the missing boat. These details could have changed everything. Instead, Bundy simply moved on to other targets. Within hours, both Janice Ott and Denise Naslund vanished from the same crowded park. Witnesses heard him introduce himself as Ted to both women before they disappeared forever. The police now had multiple witnesses, a first name, and a car description. But in 1974, without computer databases, connecting these details across jurisdictions proved nearly impossible. The investigation stalled while Bundy prepared to move to Utah. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Klopfer was growing suspicious of her boyfriend Ted. She noticed crutches in his room, plaster of Paris, and surgical gloves. When she saw the Lake Sammamish composite sketch, her blood ran cold with recognition. This became our second near miss. Klopfer called the police tip line twice about Ted Bundy. Both times, detectives dismissed her concerns. Her boyfriend was a law student, too educated and clean-cut to be their killer. Had investigators taken Klopfer seriously and investigated Ted Bundy then, they would have discovered his previous arrest for attempted kidnapping. They would have found his Volkswagen matched witness descriptions. Instead, they filed her tip away. By October 1974, Bundy had relocated to Salt Lake City for law school. The killings in Washington stopped abruptly, but young women in Utah began disappearing. Melissa Smith vanished from a pizza parlor. Laura Amy disappeared hitchhiking. Then came November 8, 1974, and our third near miss. Bundy attempted to abduct Carol DaRonch from a shopping mall in Murray, Utah. Posing as a police officer, he convinced her to accompany him to his car. Once in his Volkswagen, Bundy attempted to handcuff DaRonch, but he accidentally locked both cuffs on the same wrist. As they struggled, she fought back ferociously, scratching his face and grabbing the door handle desperately. DaRonch managed to escape when Bundy raised a crowbar to strike her. She kicked him, threw open the door, and ran screaming toward lights. Bundy sped away, leaving behind crucial evidence. handcuffs still dangling from her wrist. This time, police had a living witness who saw his face clearly. DaRonch provided detailed descriptions of Bundy, his car, and his methods. She would later identify him in a lineup with absolute certainty, yet he remained free. That same night, Bundy drove to a high school where a play was being performed. Debbie Kent disappeared from the parking lot during intermission. A key matching the handcuffs on DaRonch's wrist was found near Kent's car. Investigators now had physical evidence linking the attempted kidnapping to a murder. They had witness descriptions, a vehicle type, and a clear modus operandi. But without computers to cross-reference cases, the connections remained unmade for months. Bundy continued killing through the winter and spring of 1975. Corinne Campbell vanished from a Colorado ski resort. Julie Cunningham disappeared in Vail. Denise Oliverson vanished in Grand Junction. Each state investigated their cases independently, unaware of connections. Then came August 16th, 1975, at 2:30 a.m. in a Salt Lake City suburb. Sergeant Bob Hayward was patrolling when he noticed a tan Volkswagen Bug driving slowly through the neighborhood with its lights off suspiciously. This was our fourth near miss, perhaps the most crucial. When Hayward approached, the Volkswagen sped away. After a brief chase through residential streets, Bundy finally pulled over at an abandoned gas station, claiming he was lost. Hayward's instincts told him something was wrong. He called for backup and searched Bundy's car. In the passenger seat, he found a ski mask, rope, handcuffs, and a crowbar. Bundy claimed they were household items, nothing suspicious. If Hayward had simply issued a warning and let Bundy go, the killing would have continued. Instead, he arrested him for evading an officer and possession of burglary tools. This routine traffic stop would finally begin Bundy's downfall. At the station, Detective Jerry Thompson recognized the items from Carol DaRonch's case. The handcuffs matched the brand still on her wrist from the attack. Thompson immediately knew they might have caught the man terrorizing the region. When Thompson showed DaRonch a photo lineup, she immediately identified Ted Bundy as her attacker. Other witnesses from Lake Sammamish also recognized him. Finally, after dozens of murders, law enforcement had their man in custody for attempted kidnapping. But prosecutors faced a problem. They could only charge Bundy with the DaRonch kidnapping attempt. Without bodies or physical evidence linking him to murders, he received just a 1 to 15-year sentence. He would be eligible for parole soon. While imprisoned in Utah, investigators from Colorado began building murder cases. They had circumstantial evidence placing Bundy near multiple disappearances. In 1977, he was transferred to Aspen to face murder charges for Karen Campbell's death. This led to our fifth near miss, Bundy's escape attempts. On June 7, 1977, Bundy was allowed to visit the Aspen Courthouse Library without shackles. He jumped from a second-story window and escaped into the mountains briefly. For 6 days, Bundy evaded hundreds of searchers in the Colorado wilderness. He broke into cabins for supplies and stole a car. But without proper preparation or wilderness skills, hunger and exhaustion forced him back toward Aspen. Police nearly caught him multiple times during the manhunt. Once, searchers passed within yards of his hiding spot. Another time, he barely avoided a roadblock by abandoning a stolen vehicle. His recapture seemed like pure luck for authorities. Back in custody, Bundy immediately began planning another escape. He acquired hacksaw blades and $500 in cash from visitors. Over months, he carved a hole in his cell ceiling and lost weight to fit through the opening. On December 30th, 1977, while guards thought he was sleeping, Bundy climbed through the ceiling hole into the crawl space above. He emerged in a jailer's apartment, changed into civilian clothes, and simply walked out the front door. This escape succeeded where the first had failed. Bundy had planned meticulously, studying schedules and routes. By the time guards discovered his empty cell the next afternoon, he was already on a plane heading to Chicago, then Florida. If prison officials had searched his cell more thoroughly, they would have found the ceiling hole weeks earlier. If they'd monitored his weight loss, they'd have grown suspicious. These oversights would cost more innocent lives in Florida. On January 15, 1978, Bundy entered Florida State University's Chi Omega sorority house. In approximately 15 minutes, he attacked 4 sleeping women with a club, killing Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy, severely injuring 2 others who survived. Nita Neary, returning to the sorority house, saw Bundy fleeing down the stairs. She got a clear look at his profile and would later provide crucial testimony. Once again, a witness had seen him at a crime scene. The Chi Omega crime scene provided something new: physical evidence. Bundy had bitten Lisa Levy during the attack, leaving clear teeth impressions. This bite mark would become the forensic evidence that finally secured his death sentence years later. On February 9, 1978, Bundy kidnapped 12-year-old Kimberly Leach from her middle school in Lake City, Florida. Witnesses saw her entering a white van with a man matching Bundy's description. This would be his final victim before capture. 6 days later, Pensacola police officer David Lee stopped a stolen orange Volkswagen for a routine check. The driver seemed nervous, providing a suspicious story. When Lee ran the plates, he discovered the vehicle was stolen from Tallahassee. After a violent struggle, Lee subdued and arrested the driver, Ted Bundy. Inside the stolen car, police found Kimberly Leach's belongings and forensic evidence linking him to multiple Florida crimes. His years of evading justice had finally ended. The trial that followed revealed the full scope of missed opportunities. If any of those 5 near misses had gone differently, dozens of women would have lived. Each close call represented a chance to stop America's most prolific killer. Bundy was convicted and sentenced to death in 1979. Before his execution in 1989, he confessed to 30 murders across 7 states. FBI experts believe the actual number exceeded 100 victims during his 4-year killing spree nationwide. The case revolutionized law enforcement procedures. Interstate computer databases were created to share information. Training improved for recognizing serial offender patterns. The term serial killer itself emerged from the Bundy investigation, fundamentally changing how police approach these cases. Today, the Bundy case reminds us that killers often hide in plain sight. They can be charming, educated, and seemingly trustworthy. The near misses in his capture teach us to trust instincts and take all reports seriously immediately. What disturbs you most about these missed opportunities? Comment below with your thoughts. Subscribe for more true crime analysis, examining how close calls and investigative breakthroughs shape criminal justice. Next week, the Golden State Killer's decades of evasion.